everyone. This is Starry Ari's ASMR. I am Ari, and today I am set up here to take care of my plants a little bit again. So I've done this a few times before. Maybe I'll create a playlist for like my plant videos. But I am kind of excited that we are at the tail end of winter. And so I want to take a little bit of time, clean up some of the dead leaves that are on my plants, give them some plant food to help them grow. And as you will see, kind of as always, I have pretty much neglected most of my plants, which is why I primarily have succulents, because I know myself and I like plants that can be just left alone and that I don't have to fuss over. But also, most of my plants got very leggy this winter. I think that I just didn't really have very much sunlight, and so they were really growing to try and reach that sun, and we are unfortunately just kind of limited by like our location and the windows that we have. And I don't like the look of grow lights, and you know, I enjoy having plants, but I honestly don't care about them like that much to be like fussing over their light exposure. I just want to put them in my windowsill and by my sliding glass door and just like let them do whatever they're gonna do. So you will see a lot of my plants like this one have gotten really tall and leggy, and I probably should trim them, but I don't think I will today. So I have all of my plants set up here, and then I have this little cup and some tweezers that I'm going to use to pick off the dead leaves, and I'll just put them in this little cup. And then I have this Miracle-Gro succulent plant food. I'm actually not entirely sure how frequently I should like use this. I feel like I use it like every maybe 3 or 4 months. Maybe that's too frequent. I don't know. Please let me know if you are aware of how I should be using that. Now, I have done a little bit of research over the years to try and figure out like what plants I have. So I think that I have the names of my plants now, but some of them I'm not entirely sure, because pictures that I find online, some of the examples look pretty similar and some just look like nothing like it. So I don't really know. So if you think that I have a name wrong or a different type of plant than what I think, I'm all ears. So I think I'm gonna start over on this side and take a look at this nice kind of dimpled pot here. It's like a nice kind of blush, like taupey blush shade. So you can see this one, I feel like has been struggling this last year, but it's kind of getting a little bit better because I have some of these newer, healthier offshoots. You can see there's like green stem. At least I think that's healthier compared to these like shriveling, like dried woody stems. So that is exciting to see. Over the winter, I feel like these fresh ones did actually grow. So that's pretty nice. And for this, I do have a dead leaf right there. I'm just gonna take off the ones that really easily come up. This one down here, I think this entire one might just be dead. But I'm always nervous because I'll show you one that I thought was for sure like a far goner, Like, I thought that there was no way I was gonna bring it back, and now it's like doing amazing. So I'm always really hesitant to like take out plants that I think that I'm like pretty confident are dead, because I'm not actually sure whether they're dead or not. So I might just kind of leave that as is. And honestly, the rest of these don't really have, obviously dead leaves. Like, these are a little bit shriveled, but I think that's kind of it. I mean, this one does have some pretty obviously dead leaves at the bottom. Maybe I'll try and remove some of those. And then maybe it'll do a little bit better without those. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do for this one. So I'm going to give it some plant food, if I can get it to spray. There we go. I also wanted to mention I have some laundry going upstairs, and I'm washing some heavy blankets. So if you hear sudden thumping, I'll try and edit it out, but that is what that is. Okay, so I've done this one here. Maybe I'll just kind of, for now, start this way, because I think these are the easier plants. So this one, I don't think I actually have anything to do to it, but you can see it is growing straight out this way because of the light, I assume. And it's actually, I mean, it's doing pretty well. It keeps getting new little, like, nub leaves. Like, I love this one because I think the leaves are just so interesting. But it keeps putting out new ones, and it's, like, growing out this way. I've tried rotating it in the window, and it just keeps growing out sideways. So I'm nervous to do anything about it, because, I mean, other than the way it's growing, I feel like it's doing quite well. I don't see, well, I do see actually one dead leaf down here, and that just kind of fell right off. There we go. But honestly, I think that's kind of all I'm gonna mess with for this one, and I'll just give it a little bit of plant food. Oh, I wasn't saying the names of them. I think the first one that I had is called like String of Buttons or something like that. And then this one that I was just doing, I'm pretty sure that this one is the Little Jewel, something like that. I don't fully remember exactly, but I think those two are good. And let me show you. This one is crazy. Look at that. Do you see? I love these. So these are a type of echeveria. It's like the like blue echeveria, and these, as you can see, have gone a bit wild. They are so tall. And I've got all of these tiny little babies that are also getting super tall. And this is kind of a little bit of shame for me, because I love these plants. I have so many of these little cuttings, and I love them so much. I think they are so pretty, but just over the winter they just really shot up. And I think that I really need to do some cutting again and just like trim these down a lot, but I don't know. Again, I'm always so anxious about doing cuttings and like pruning and stuff, because I'm always worried. Like, these are so pretty at the ends, and it's like I could maybe just trim like here and then let it dry and like plant it in the soil again, but I'm always so anxious, like what if it doesn't grow, and what if I just killed it? But I don't know. I'm maybe gonna see see how it does through the spring. Maybe getting some more sunlight will help. I mean, they're not gonna like fill out this way though, so I think I probably need to trim them anyways. Who knows? I think by the next time you see these, they probably still won't be trimmed. So these ones I'm just kind of pulling off the really obviously dead bits of leaves, which there are a decent amount, but luckily these ones just kind of come out really nice and easily, which is good. I'm gonna have some underneath the bottom here. There we go. Yeah, and I know that like grow lights would solve my problems with all of my plants getting really leggy, but again, I just don't really like the look of grow lights, and we don't have a ton of space anyways, and I don't want to like have my window areas like cluttered, and it's not something I'm interested in right now. But I know that my plants would do better if I just got them grow lights. Okay, I think that might be all that I'm gonna do for this one. I do love those Echeveria though. Those are, I think, my favorite succulent by far. And let's do this one next. Here we go. Now these, I don't remember if these ones are maybe called like baby sunrose or something. I might be getting a lot of my plants mixed up, but this is, I think, my least succulent plant. I don't know that this is a succulent at all. I certainly don't water it like it's a succulent. I water it way more than my other ones. And I think that it's actually, I mean, it looks so sad, right? Like I have all of these dead offshoots. But I think compared to when I showed this one last, it has gotten quite a lot of like new healthy leaves, especially this one here. It's like doing really, really well. So I am pleased with that even over the winter, this one was still getting a little bit better. And I think a lot of that was just me watering it more frequently. I did get an app to help me track my plants and when I'm watering them, because I used to have a system around, you know, like, okay, the 5th of the month or something, I'm gonna water my succulents. But with this one being on a different watering schedule, some of the other ones I think needing different watering needs, I just wanted to kind of have it be a little bit more organized. And so I did download an app. I don't remember what it's called, but it was pretty cool. I was able to just take pictures of my plants, and then it kind of gave me suggestions of what it thought my plant was. Some of them I think were very blatantly wrong, like some of the suggestions. Like my plant looked nothing like what it suggested. And I was able to just go in and like edit the name, you know. But then now I just put in my app every time I do like a care activity like this, and then I can very easily go back and just see or get reminders for like watering or kind of the next thing. I just dropped that leaf in my lap. And so I'm hoping that kind of helps me be a little more consistent. And I do really enjoy having these plants, but again, I mean, they're kind of just like a little bit of an afterthought for me. Like I like to maybe water them like once a month, except for this one here. and then like not have to think about it much again after that. And then every few months I will kind of sit down and do this. And I don't know if I maybe should actually do this more frequently. I don't know. But I have thought that I've had a lot of these plants for years, and even though they could most certainly be healthier, they're not dead. So there's something going on here that is working somewhat, or maybe they're just not dead, you know, despite me. And they're just somehow living against the odds. This tiny little one is trying to get away. There we go. Okay, so I've got that. Let me do this one here. Okay, I think that this one is looking good now. I might do a little bit, I don't think this is a succulent. So I don't know if the succulent plant food would be like hurtful or helpful, but I think that I have done the plant food, and then I'll just kind of call that good. Alright, so there's that one. And I think next I will show you this one here. And this one, and I don't remember if this was another one of the Echeveria hybrids. I'm not sure. This one does have some like dead leaves under here. I'm going to try and pull off. And you can see I've got this tiny little baby one coming up here. I think it was there in my last video. It has grown a little bit, but sadly not a ton. But it also hasn't really died, so that is something. And this one, I will show you another version of this plant that actually was on the same stem, but they were growing really far apart, and so I trimmed it and repotted it in its own little pot, and it is doing a lot better. It's a lot happier in that kind of by itself, but now that means this one is kind of like way off to the side over here, but that's okay. It gives all of the space for this little baby one eventually. Okay, I think that is everything. You can see it's trying to like really put out a ton of roots because I think it's, you know, it's growing over the edge. So I think it's having a little bit of a freak out over that. But I was hoping eventually it would like slowly make its way back over here. I don't know if that's giving too much credit to the plant. I feel like these plants are just so hardy and just are very impressive what they can survive. So there is that one. Let's do another of these Echeveria. I did say, I mean, I have, I think 4 pots with these, the Echeveria in it. And I mean, they are my favorite one. I think they are just so cute. They're just adorable. You can see this one has tons and tons of them in here. They really like spread and sprout. In this pot, they really did a ton. But again, they are getting very leggy. And this one, I've known why, and it's because I have the soil so low. And I'm just too lazy to like repot these all. I'm also very nervous about trying to get these out and add more soil, because I think if I just added more soil it would like cover up some of these little like rosettes, and I don't really want to do that because I also don't think that would be very healthy for the plant. So my thought is that I might need to just take these all out and then fill up some soil. And then that would let these be a little bit closer to the top of the pot. But again, I think I'm probably just gonna leave them and just see what happens. These, just gonna again kind of take off these really obviously dead leaves, but for so many of these, I think I'm just gonna like leave them as is, not really mess with them, especially these little baby ones, because I'm nervous about just completely tearing them. Look at these, aren't these just like the cutest little things? They're just adorable. Alright, I think there are a lot more dead leaves in here, but I'm worried about these being a little bit more delicate, and I've already kind of messed with them a decent amount, so I'm just gonna give a little bit of the plant food and call that one good. And I guess I'll kind of keep with these Echeveria. So these ones, oh my gosh, these ones have like just, you can see like most of my plants are kind of like leaning in one direction, and that is the direction of the window. Again, I did try and like rotate them this winter, but clearly that did not help enough, or at all, I don't think. Do this one over here. See one dead leaf down here. Again, I think I'm gonna leave most of the baby ones kind of just by themselves. I'm not gonna mess with them too much. I think that these two taller ones are good. You can see a teeny tiny little one here. But I think this kind of next largest one, which is still very small, I can get some of these leaves. Here we go. Alright. I just think these are so stinking cute. Let me put some plants plant food. There is that one all done. And let me work on this one next, which is also that same type. And oh my gosh, look at this. This is wild. These ones I think got the most like over the winter. And I don't know. Like, it's a little bit overwhelming looking at them. So I don't really know where to start. I guess I could start back here. Luckily, I mean, these ones don't really have many, like, obviously deadly. Actually, no, they do on this back side. Never mind. Which is really interesting. There was, like, none on this other side. I do always find this very satisfying, taking the dead leaves off, even if I'm not perfect at it. Still just like something that's very satisfying to do. And some of these that have all of these babies coming up, a lot of these were areas where I did cuttings before when they had gotten really leggy, and then I just left these like long stems and then they sprouted a bunch of babies off of it. And so, you know, I could do that with these ones and just hope that new ones come off of it, but again, I'm usually just kind of anxious. Because, like, I would rather just deal with this look than trim these and accidentally kill them. Like, I would be so heartbroken if I did that. Maybe not heartbroken, but I'd be sad. I am pretty happy that we are slowly moving into spring now. Slowly but surely. It has been in the like mid 50s where I'm at this week, and it has been so nice. It's still been getting pretty cold at night, and I know other places in the country are not as lucky as we are right now, but for here, I'm very excited to have 50-degree weather. I do feel like this winter was a little bit rough, just so like gloomy and rainy, but we didn't get a ton of snow, especially in the mountain passes. So I am a little bit anxious about what our summer is going to look like without all of that mountain runoff that we usually would get. And I don't mind winter as much as some people. I think that some years it's been worse, but this year I really made sure to just be taking my extra, like a vitamin D supplement. I just have like a multivitamin that I take. So I was just making sure I was really on top of it with that. And I think that it really did help, especially because I was noticing when I was really like consistent with it, I wasn't getting as tired by like mid-afternoon. Like there were some days where I was like, I just desperately need a nap. But, you know, it's like the middle of the day and I can't just like take a nap while I'm like, you know, doing stuff. It's not very productive if I'm trying to do things and get things done. for me to just go off and take a nap. Alright, I mean, there's like some more dead leaves and stuff at the bottom there, but I think I'm gonna mostly leave those. I'm just gonna add this plant food. Okay, and this was the last one of this type. So I think I'm going to do this one next. So this was that same plant as this one here. So these ones came off of the same stem, but I just repotted this one. But I like it. I like how green it is. Like, it's just so pretty. And there are a decent amount of dead leaves down here. But again, these ones, thankfully, just come out really easily. Go. Did want to sit down and do this today because we will be having some guests coming soon, and I didn't want my plants to all be in a bit of a sad state with lots of dead leaves. Okay, so there's that one. That one's looking good now. I can add this plant food. And I think for this one you can actually see like the tips of this plant. There's like a tiny little like sharper point. It's not actually that sharp. Like, it doesn't, like prick me, but it gets colorful. Like when it's getting a lot of sunlight, the tips of these plants will get like purpley or red. So that's kind of interesting. And I think this one is getting those tips a little bit faster than its sibling. There's that one. Oh boy. And this one here, this poor plant. I think this is a rat tail crassula, and I think it is meant to be straight up. I think all of these are meant to stand straight up. But for forever, it has been drooping, and I have tried pruning it. I've tried giving it less water. I've given it the plant food. I think that it's doing better than it was like a year ago, but as you can see, it is not doing well by any means. So I'm gonna just kind of take off some of these just really obviously dried dead bits and just hope for the absolute best. This poor plant, I just have no idea like how to correct this. Like, it just has flopped over and then that's it. Like, it just, I don't know. I've tried like propping them up with the plant pots next to it. That didn't help. And I mean, it does get like new, I mean, so many of these have new little offshoots that are growing up. So that is, I mean, that's something, but like, I don't know what I can do with all of these that are already like floppy. So this one, especially like, look at these ones here. You can see these are quite new. Like, they're very nice and dark green. So it's such an interesting plant. So I think it's doing better than it has been in a long time. I just don't know if I can ever get it to recover and like stand up straight without pruning it, and I don't know exactly how to prune this type. I think that's all I'm gonna do for this one. I mean, it has so many little dead leaves, but because the plant is like, I mean, there's so many leaves on each little strand. Like, I'm not going to take the time and like pull off all of these. Like, that's just, I can't imagine that is a thing that I should do. But I think this one is honestly one of my husband's favorites of my plants because he likes the shape of the strands. Like, the leaves themselves are really interesting, and he likes how funky it looks. So that's all I'm gonna do for that one. And this one here is actually the plant that I was talking about that I thought for sure had died and was like going to be dead forever. And it miraculously grew, and there's even offshoots. There's this nice offshoot over here, and then I do have one of the like the hens and chicks over here. Is it the Semper Vivium or something? And this one, I don't remember if it is the like Echeveria acavoides or something, but the leaves are so interesting because they've got some like line markings on them. It's just a really, really interesting, cool plant. And I'm so happy that it didn't die when I thought for sure that it was a goner. And I just, kept it in the pot. And I was like, I'll just keep watering it and see if anything comes of it. But it was a plant that was left by one of my neighbors when they were moving out. And I thought that I would just try and see if I could revive it. I figured I'll just throw it in a pot and see what happens. This one doesn't really have many dead leaves, which is nice, but this one here, the hens and chicks, I should move this one to a pot with other hens and chicks, but this is also left by my neighbor when they were moving out, so I just kind of threw them both in the same pot and crossed my fingers for the best. And they both kind of came back, so that was pretty nice. But I think the hens and chicks are incredibly resilient, and I imagine some people could even consider them weeds because they're not the prettiest. I think they look kind of cool, but they're definitely not the prettiest plant, and I find that they just grow like crazy. Alright, so that one is good. I'm going to give this one some plant food. Here we go. I've only got these two plants left, and these are both hens and chicks. I'm going to start with this one because I think it's going to be maybe the most frustrating because there are so many of these tiny little ones. But yeah, so these are more of those hens and chicks. As you can see, they do just like grow and spread like wildfire. And I honestly, again, I don't really, these aren't my favorite look of all of my plants, especially because I find they grow so fast, and I think I maybe just don't take the best care of them because they end up with all of these dead leaves. And so then they just end up looking a little bit worse for wear, like very, very quickly. So I don't really care for that. But I do still keep them just, I think, as a point of pride. I'm planning on stopping by one of our little nurseries because I have a gift card. I want to see if they have any cute succulents, but I'm kind of torn because I don't really have any other window space. Like, my space is kind of as full as it can be, and so I don't really know like where I would put new plants, and I don't really want to get a larger plant stand for in front of our sliding glass door because we use that door a decent amount, like going in and out for our dog. And so I don't really want something like taking up more space in front of that. And also these ones, my dog's fur just like gets trapped in it because it's like all of these are just so spiky. Like, again, they don't feel spiky, they're quite soft, but the leaves are very spiky and just like trap all of my dog's fur. And of course, you know, when she's walking by to go out in the backyard, she's passing by my plants every time. I think my patience is kind of wearing thin for these ones, so I think I'm going to call that good. And then this one is also hens and chicks, but I like this one a lot more because, as you can see, it is quite a bit bigger, but it does still have a decent amount of dead leaves underneath. Honestly, I wasn't too mad about this one getting a little bit more leggy during the winter because now it makes it a little bit easier for me to get out these dead leaves. Whereas when it's shorter and it's really close to the soil, it could be hard to get my tweezers like up under the living leaves because these are a little bit more rigid. Okay, it's always kind of an interesting balance between trying to get as many of the dead leaves as I can, but also being, you know, as gentle as I can be with the plant. And I feel like there's a fine line there that is difficult to walk sometimes. I think I'm going to leave these smaller ones pretty much alone. I mostly want to clear out that larger one, which I did do. And I don't think I actually gave these ones any plant food because I think I was getting frustrated by how tiny all of these dead leaves were. Maybe I will end with this one because I think this one currently maybe looks the nicest of all of my plants. I hope that you enjoyed another one of these, kind of chill with me as I clean up my plants. Again, if you have any tips or ideas or suggestions, I'm very happy to hear them. You will not hurt my feelings. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have